Welcome back to Northwest Elite Spirit, the channel you come to train your mind, body, and spirit. I'm Coach Brian. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do that now. This is heavy metal, heavy bag, martial arts freestyle. I put this workout together for myself, for martial arts, in order for me to establish not just a pace, but being able to change paces, go between flowing and crashing, pit-patting, setting up, and smashing. So our first 3 rounds are going to be me warming up to heavy metal. Each song is a round. So you go through to the whole song and you take a minute off. Even if the next song starts, you still take a minute off after the last song. Some of these songs are so long. 3 warm-up rounds, 3 pit-pat rounds, 3 crashing rounds, and then 3 rounds of both pit-pat mixed with crashing.
So we start up with some shadow boxing. We're staying loose. We have 12 rounds to go, and the goal is to make it through all the rounds. And so we're not looking at warming up as any sort of workout. We're not trying to imagine kicking anybody's head off or anything like that. We're just staying loose, dancing around, and getting warmed up for the rounds ahead. You can see here I'm loosening up for some kicks. I'm not necessarily throwing like correct kicks. I'm more just trying to open up my hips here and find the snap, find the looseness I'm going to need to make it through all of these rounds. I always tell everybody, dance like nobody's looking. People don't like the shadow box. They think they look goofy, but you are going to look goofy at first and sometimes even later on. Sometimes you just look goofy and you got to get over it and be able to work through that. Again, getting loose. You can see everything just kind of rolling and sliding out. Not a whole lot of force going on, just nice and smooth. 1 minute rest between each round. 1 round is a song, or 1 song is a round. No matter when the next song begins, you still wait a minute. A lot of the songs on the music I was listening to got up to like 8 minutes long. So you have plenty of time to do that 1 minute rest. I'm not playing any of that music for copyright reasons. Yeah, rocking out, just like really feeling the music and feeling the flow of the music. Just kind of dancing, playing around, figuring some things out, remembering some things, trying some things and stumbling and then trying again, and just working things out. Shadow boxing for warming up is great for working out the kinks and the things that you do know and practicing the things that you are learning currently or practicing the things that you yourself are experimenting with. So don't be afraid to go slowly and try some new footwork or try a new way of looking at a strike and just dancing around, having fun with it. You don't have to take it too serious. The serious stuff comes later, and even that, these drills are built to flow into one another. So the mood of this drill flows into the mood of the next rounds, flows into the mood of the next rounds, flows into the mood of the ending round. Flowing with the music, hitting my feet on the music, hitting the rhythm of my hands with the music on the beat. Bop, 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 bop. Making sure that I'm hitting the rhythm. Now, this is not going to force you to need music to do anything, to move. What it'll do is it will teach you to how rhythm works, because different songs have different rhythms and different paces, and even within those songs the pace will speed up or slow down, rise and crash. And through this, you're going to learn that even when there is no music, you'll be able to flow and crash, having learned music through your body. Taking a rest, really starting to like feel it. Dancing, starting off, like I said, dancing, loosening up. Getting them knees flowing. Everything flowing. Working some elbows. Didn't really show elbows right now because I'm not working elbows with the class. Mostly I'm showing things here that I'm working with my class. So we're like working the jab. See? Working, just kind of flowing, finding it, and then snapping that jab out there. Being ambidextrous. If you saw, I went from orthodox to unorthodox really quickly. Spinning back fist. Superman punch. Roundhouse. Yeah, and just mixing it up. Like, it doesn't have to be any certain rhythm. It helps to have some like a picture of somebody in front of you, like somebody you're ducking punches from and throwing strikes at. And even then, you're still being playful with that like crash test dummy that you're picturing in front of you. Here we're getting ready for the next round, taking that minute rest. Letting the music, I'm like feeling hyped, and I'm containing myself. I like to let this music get me hype, and then I contain myself. I start feeling it. I store up that energy that I build between rounds, and then I let it go. Even if I'm letting it go, or even if it's pit-pat. It's like I pour that energy into pit-pat. It's not just into crashing, or I pour the energy into footwork. Whatever energy I build during my rest period, I store it and I put it towards whatever the next drill or the next round is about. Here I'm trying some not so fancy footwork. Working that jab. I'm not minding what that jab is looking at. It's not nice and snappy. I like to see my chin protected a little more. I'm liking how I'm moving here. Nice and fluent. Yeah, again, dancing like nobody's looking. Working some footwork. Imagining somebody in front of me. And then doing the footwork. Body jab, head jab, body jab, head jab. Dancing, feeling it, feeling good. Coming to the end of the round here, and I am feeling warmed up, so you know the shirt's got to come off. Getting sweaty, getting hot, and now we're on to the pit-pat rounds. And pit-pat rounds are, each round, every round of these 3 rounds, you're trying to hit the bag 1,000 times. And that's more of an arbitrary number than anything. It's just to give you an idea that I want you to keep going. Pit, pat, keep going. Aim for 1,000, but don't bother counting. Just keep moving to the rhythm, pit-patting to the beat, and you'll make it. Again, if you burn out, you're doing it wrong. So this isn't the smash round. This isn't the round where we're trying to kill it. We're just pit-pat, finding a flow. Even with our kicks, just little pit-pats, pit-pat. Nice and easy flow. Now, a lot of people will have the opinion, I guess, that this pit-pat style isn't powerful or effective. But you can actually, with these little pit-pat punches, you can generate a lot of force because you're throwing, even though you're throwing like pit-pats, you're trying to use proper mechanics while you do it. So they're effective for power on some of these, and even like if you're just throwing like a little pit-pat jab, you don't have to throw a power jab every time you throw a jab in a fight. You can just throw little pit-pats, you know, like setting them up, getting them to flinch, getting them to move around just by sticking your glove in their face and patting them. And if you can do it pop a bunch of times, and then bang, bang, or like pop, bang. That's the whole point of these drills that we're learning here. So we're learning to pit-pat all day and crash all day. And the rhythm will help you do that. The music will help you do that. You don't have to do Metallica rounds. You don't have to do heavy metal rounds. You find your own music to do it to. There's probably people that like to do it to classical, or like there's a group called Earth Gang. I like to do it to Earth Gang radio too. Yeah, pit pat, just over and over, aiming for 1,000 strikes. And again, some of these rounds are very long, so you'll find yourself pit patting for a long time, and it's extra incentive to take it easy. Like, some of these rounds are 8 minutes long, and so it's okay to take it easy, figure out a rhythm, figure out the mechanics. That gives you 8 minutes to figure out the mechanics without going too hard and wearing yourself out. I like here following the bag with the jab and being able to step back and jab, and again, pit pat, pit pat. Imagine there's an opponent in front of you and he's trying to get to you. Not only are you backing up, but you're popping him the whole time, or he's backing up and you're still popping him the whole time. So the pit pat is effective. It can be frustrating, and then when they get frustrated and they drop their guard, that's when you take advantage, or if they just flinch. With the pit pat rounds, you can throw kicks, you can throw knees. You don't have to throw them hard. It just seems like when you're nice and relaxed, they kind of come hard anyway, and that starts to get exciting, and you can start throwing real hard because you like how your shin is hitting that bag. But we have to remember that it's pit pat rounds, not get overexcited, and wait for the smashing rounds before we start smashing. So here in a second, you're going to see me start putting on the struggle face. So some of these songs are so long, and you do begin to kind of wear out. Here I am because the song's long, and I'm having to pit pat, and having to just figure it out. You get tired, and you just have to figure it out and figure out how to keep going. Dig in. Oftentimes the flow of the music, if you kind of put aside your feelings and let the flow of the music take over, that works. Breathing works. Taking time to stop and do footwork works. And like knees here, like when I get really tired of one thing, I can throw knees. And just doing what it takes, and see now I've pushed through and I'm back into the flow of things. Here again with the backing up jab and the moving forward jab, I think that's going to be an excellent tool for anybody in boxing, kickboxing, MMA. If you can be stepping back and popping your opponent, or if they are backing up trying to get away from you and you can be accurately popping shots at them along the way, that's going to be to your advantage. Yeah, back in it. Bopping. And like I said, you can get kicks in and you can try kicks. I'm later in the round, so being in some slow rounds gives me the opportunity to, even though I may be getting tired, to make sure that my form is correct. At least attempt to make sure that my form is correct. These early rounds, again, between the warm-up rounds and these pit-pat rounds, we're working the kinks out. And even in the next rounds where we're smashing, we're still working the kinks out. And then hopefully by the last 3 rounds we have done that and we're able to flow and crash with precision. So after a while, when you've pushed through often enough, you understand that you reach these walls, like earlier when I was on the struggle bus, and if you push through, you kind of forget all about them, and then you're back into the flow of things. So here I am back into the flow of things, bop, bop, feeling fresh, feeling good, coming off a rest, of course, which helps. And then you just get back to it. So that last round didn't count. That song was really short. So, because we had some technical issues. So we didn't get much of a song at all. And so here we are trying again. And then again, like feeling the flow. There it is. Here we go again. Bopping, bopping. Bopping, touching. Yep. Stay loose, stay breathing. Because again, we're like, 6 rounds in now. So you're going to be getting tired if you're not breathing. And you may be getting tired anyway because you've thrown, thousands of strikes and you've got another 1,000 to go. Now you see here, like I really like to get a bag that's moving. I like to imagine that I have an opponent who's moving away from me and moving toward me, and I'm having to throw strikes and have good footwork moving forward and backwards, because I don't imagine that my opponent will be standing still. I mean, you do get opponents who stand still, but if I have an opponent or a bag that's moving, I think that's better training for me, or it's at least funner, and you can mix it up. You can hit a bag that's standing. Here I'm talking about standing still, but here I'm talking about how I like to hit the bag really hard, and I like how it poofs out the other side. And my daughter reminds me that it's pit-pat rounds, Dad, and so I'm like, oh yeah, pit-pat, and trying to fall back into it, because like I said, you start hearing that pow, 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 even on the pit-pat rounds, and you get excited, and you forget that these are pit-pat rounds, and you burn yourself out. So you have to get back to it. And even if you burn yourself out, you got to keep going. And right here it says contain yourself. So I'm getting excited, and so I'm having to like calm down and contain myself, because it's not the crash rounds yet. It's funny, like you can tell that I'm getting kind of worn down, but I'm also like excited. This is one of my favorite, if not I don't know, I have a lot of fun drills that I like to do, and this is an old favorite. I haven't done it in a long time. I took some time off from martial arts to do some ultra running, and so I dug this thing out, and man, I just really love it. This was like a really long song. Every time I thought it was going to end, it would like still be going. I call this the bum rush. You might have saw how when I punch with the left foot, so it's like opposite. So if my left hand is forward, my right foot is forward. And you just keep punching as you're walking forward. And you've seen some probably guys do that in mixed martial arts. And also like in karate, it's a thing that they do. But it seems in sports karate, it's more like of a pit-pat, like kind of like what I did, but in real life you would be smashing. On to the smashing rounds, and these are just what they sound like. You're just trying to smash, but again, you're trying to make it all the way through the round, so you're not smashing like non-stop. You're just smashing, pacing yourself, finding a way to keep smashing to the end of the 3 rounds, but also remembering that after this, after your 3 rounds of smashing, you have 3 rounds where you're mixing pitter-patter and smashing. And again, some of these rounds are very long, and you just have to resolve yourself to it and figure out how to smash through the entire round. Yeah, and you can double up on the smashing or triple up on the smashing. You don't have to do one punch at a time. Both of those Bam, bam. Body, head, smash. Body, head, smash. Body, head. Let's see here. Body. Body. Yeah. And really smashing. Right here, right now, I'm starting to hear the building kind of go ka-jugga jugga, ka-jugga jugga, ka-jugga jugga as I hit this bag. And that's what I'm really aiming for. That's what I like to hear. And I'm not even close to where I could be. I'm not polished right now. And I imagine when I'm polished, I can really get the building shaking. And you can too. And it's like it's an auditory trigger like that lets me know that I'm getting there. Like first you might start hearing pops when you hit the bag. You might hear a pop when you hit the bag, and that's like a sign that you're getting there. And then you might see the bag crease a little bit when you strike it, and you hear the pop in the crease, and you see the crease, and you know that you're getting there. And then you start hearing a little rattle in the rafters, and you know that you're getting there. And then you start hearing the building go ka-jugga jugga, and you know that you're getting there. And it only gets better. You have to understand that it only gets better. Your ego, when you start like getting fast and hitting hard, can get ahead of you, and you start thinking that you can like slack off, or you don't have to pay attention to what's going on, and you're like just the greatest thing since sliced bread. But you have to remain studious, and you have to remain humble, and when you do, it only gets better. Because you're still looking for the little things that you can tweak to make it even better. So I'm seeing here in the later rounds, I'm starting to drop my hands, and that's a no-no. So I'll have to polish that up next time and make sure that's not happening. And if my daughter's recording again, I'll have her looking for it for me so she could say something to me. She normally does say something to me. Sometimes I get like a flow, or maybe I have a look on my face and she thinks I don't want to hear it. But it's always good to have someone around who tells you when you're not doing the proper things. You don't want to be dropping your hands in kickboxing, boxing, MMA, karate, any combat sport that requires strikes. You're not going to want your hands down. You're going to want to have that defense up at all times. Even I could say, oh, it's just a smashing drill, so it's not about keeping your hands up, but it's always about keeping your hands up. Hit and don't get hit. That's the whole game. And the key to great kicks, or good kicks, or great kicks, is like being loose. If you can get that leg to just whip into place, it's the same with punches. If you can get things to just whip into place, there's so much power behind that. And again, it's like nice and relaxed. I could be a little faster, but I'll work on that. And there's power in just that looseness and that relaxedness that we use to build up. Oh yeah, you can see me breaking down. Yeah, the longest song in the history of ever. Every time I thought this song was like done, there'd be somebody like whispering. Like it would trick me too. Like I would like lull off for a minute or for a second, and then when I would lull off of the heavy bag, I would hear the song still going. Like, man, song never ends. And it kept doing that to me for a long time. And then even after they were done playing music, they were like talking, and I decided that counts as the song's still going. So we just kept going until the song ended. But you can see it was wearing me down here. Yeah, and so you can see I'm like getting worn down. I'm still trying. I know that I'll push through. And I say keep going. I said to my daughter, I said out loud, I don't know if I can keep smashing. And she said, you can. And so like, man, it's such a good thing to have somebody in your corner. I know like sometimes you have to go things alone. and you do what you got to do. But if you have somebody in your corner to just say, yeah, you can keep going, and then like it was like a switch, like bam, yes, I can keep going. And I said you're right, and I just started smashing again. I doubted that I could keep smashing because that song was so long. She said you can do it, and here I am doing it. Alright, we had a minute rest, and now we're on to 3 rounds of flowing and crashing. So it's pit, pat, and crashing. Trying to be fast and smash, but at the same time, again, making sure that we're not burning out. We have to make it through all 3 songs. And so we're figuring out how to stay loose, how to keep breathing, how to relax, and how to, even when that crash comes, the crash comes in a flowing way, and so we don't spend so much energy when we do it. And that's what these rounds built up to. The shadow boxing into the pit pat into the crash into these rounds. It was all built up towards helping us figure out how to flow and crash. And again, I like to get this bag swinging, and now that I'm gotten it swinging with flowing and crashing, I can chase it down, or I can back up and I can flow and crash either way. So I'm crashing while it's far away, flowing, pit, pat, crash. Pit, pat, crash, or at least attempted crash, crash. So yeah, even when the bag is moving away or towards me, I'm able to do both. I'm able to pit, pat, and crash. Get out of the way. Same thing, bop, crash. You're gonna see me throw the Superman punch here, and I actually learned that through that bum rush drill that I was doing earlier, where you'd see me step with my left and throw with my right, and then step with my right and throw in my left with my left, and start walking towards the opponent doing that. That's actually what taught me how to do that. Then here I'm trying to figure out how to do it on the opposite foot. It's like awkward. And then here, so I'm telling myself, Brian, pick your targets. Imagine there's someone in front of you. You're pit-patting to set up, and then you're smashing when you see your openings. You don't have to just throw for the sake of throwing. You're imagining a target, you're pit-patting, setting up, and then smashing when available. And my daughter asks if I wanted you guys to hear that. And it wasn't for you, but it was for me, but it is a great tool where you stop and you remind yourself, like, what is the task that you're on? Don't get away from yourself. The goal is to make it through these 12 rounds, and that's going to require me to pit-pat and then smash. And here I'm like, yes, Brian, you can pit-pat and then smash. Just kind of physically reminding myself. And then falling in. Starting to do that. Bow, pit-pat, smash. Like that. That's what we're aiming for. And then on the other side, so we want to be ambidextrous fighters, so got to learn how to throw that same thing. Bow. Yeah. Now we're starting to feel it. Starting to get the flow in, pit-pat, smash. That's what we're looking for. And it seems like here I'm just remembering head movement, and I'll have to get more of that into my routine next time, like moving my head around. You never want your head to be on center, standing still so they can hit you. Well, I'm not going to say never, but it's a good idea to change up your head position as you fight. So after you get done throwing your punches, or after you get done defending something, they're not gonna know exactly where your head is gonna be. If you don't do any head movement, they know where your head's gonna be like the whole time. This is also me remembering that this isn't an actual match, so I can take the time to stop and try, like there I was trying the overhand. So it doesn't have to be the whole time you imagining an opponent moving around you or anything like that. You can stay still for a minute and just kind of work on something in particular. Yeah, there we go again, following the bag, and then even when it's coming at you, hitting that 1-2, bow, 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 bow. You can tell I'm slowing down here. That should have been a lot faster. Alright, and I always say, make the last round your best round. It's not just in kickboxing, but when you're working out, if it's your last reps for lifting weights, or if it's your last 10 push-ups, you make them your best. And so that's the idea for the last thing we do every time. Be it the last drill for kickboxing or the last push-ups, you're making it your best. You're making it your best form, you're making it your best breathing, your best balance, and you're giving it your best shot. No slacking just because it's the last round. No slacking because you're tired. That's actually when you need to be even more precise and even more correct in your movements. And here we're really starting to hear the rafters shake, and I'm digging that. Like I said, that is what I'm looking for. If I can hear a ka-jugga-jugga in whatever build, that's what I'm aiming for in every building I'm in, is to find out how to make that building shake, and I'm getting it here. And I'm still getting those little flicking pops that I'm looking for. Like I'm still like pit pat, bow, pit pat, bow, bow. Yeah, staying nice and flowy. The hands are too low for my liking. And I could use the excuse that it's the later rounds, but that's no excuse. I have to fix that. So the next time I do this routine, again, I will have my daughter reminding me, and I will be remembering myself that I need to be throwing with my hands up every round, always, every time. Next time too, I think I'll throw more knees mixed in. I seem to be here throwing a lot of knees in bunches. I'll mix it up a little more and figure out some combos and some spaces to throw individual knees in to where I'm not just throwing them in bunches. Around, I had heard the song before, so I picked it up a little bit and really tried to smash at the end until the end of the song comes. So you'll see me throwing pretty hard here, and again, I was getting the building rocking, which I love to do. And here we are at the end of the round.
All right, so that's heavy metal, heavy bag, martial arts freestyle rounds. First 3 rounds is warm up. Second 3 rounds is pit pat. Next 3 rounds is smash. And the last 3 rounds is mixing pit pat with smashing, all to the music. I like to use Metallica, and you can get anywhere from 3 to 8 minute rounds with that. Again, take a minute break in between each song, no matter when the next song starts. This is going to help you flow. You're going to be able to move and change pace. You're going to be able to go from moving around to smashing and be able to move your feet well, you're going to learn how to pace yourself to make it for as many rounds as you need to for whatever it is you're doing. Today I did 12 rounds. That was pretty hard. I might look tired at the end there. Get better with practice. So the next time I'll be a little better. I'll learn what went wrong in the earlier rounds and apply it to where I can make it through all 12 rounds and still look crisp and tight and powerful and flowing. Once again, Coach Brian with Northwest Elite Spirit, the channel you come to train your mind, body, and spirit. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do that now. If you like the video, give it a like and comment below. If you have some input, go ahead and comment below. If you think this could be helpful to other people, share it. As always, practice. Thank you.